and welcome to another episode of Let's Talk. Today we are going to be discussing embellishments and finishing touches that you can put on your coloring pages. I've grabbed a few of my finished pages here that I did a while back, and we can add maybe a few more little tidbits on them using some of these tools we have here. So first things first, let's go over what some of these items are. So first up is something that I feel like almost every colorist has kind of in their tool chest. I know we talked a little bit about like tools of the trade in our second episode, but this is a little bit more in depth. So I mentioned that, we have some white embellishments that we like to put at the end of pictures sometimes, or using for highlights or for whiting out things. And I have three that are my go-to. We have the white Arteza acrylic marker, we have the white Arteza gel pen, and we have the Uniposca pen. Now, one of the examples of a way that I used this would be on this mermaid page. You can see on her tail, I used white dots to add a bit of an almost like shine look for each individual scale, as well as just like embellishments on her shoulder, along the side of her face, on her hair, because she's a mermaid. She's a mermaid. So that is an example of something you can do with the white, as well as just in general, like highlights on the eyes is always helpful. So having a white pen or a paint pen is extremely handy. Next up, we have gel pens. Now, I have a couple of favorites. They're all Pentel brands. So we have the Pentel Sparkle Pop, we have the Pentel Milky Pop, and the Pentel Sleechy Metallic Gel Pens. These are always the ones I reach for the most. These ones, a little bit less, and for a while, it was only these ones, but I really like the Sparkle Pop with how just vibrant and, sparkly it is. So these are some examples of how I used these. So most of you had seen that I did this one on stream, but the Milky Pop really came in handy for the sprinkles and other things that I wanted to pop off the page. So, and I didn't want to just do metallics here. So we used the Milky Pop to bring kind of that bright white kind of color to the sprinkles and give a little bit of a variation. Other things I used on here, like this gold here, was the gold Sparkle Pop. There's a number of different ways that you can use it. This here was a green Sleechy Metallic Gel Pen. So it really just kind of depends on how bright you want these to be. For instance, on this page here, this was a Hannah Carlson page. I used the gold Sparkle Pop for kind of just these magical little, I don't know, what would you call them, like floaty thingies. But then I used the Sparkle Pop as kind of a balance. I used the pink Sparkle Pop for like the wings and a little bit of pink embellishment there. So it's a real easy way to just kind of add that little bit of oomph, so to speak. This item here is called Dragonfly Glaze. Now, I was introduced to this by Appetite for Coloring Tanya. She mentioned this, and we're going to test it out today on, I think, the mermaid page. But it is a color changing top coat by Folkart, and what we're going to be able to do is paint over. We're going to try on her fishtail, and it is a full spectrum shift, so that there's a type of glitter in there that really makes it kind of glow. So we're going to test this out here in a little bit, and I'll show you how this works. One of the other items I really like, and I have been using this one since early days, and there's actually a silver one as well that is really nice. I don't have one on hand now, but the gold is just beyond sparkly, and you can apply this with either a paintbrush or a dip pen. I'm going to show you how to do that here in a minute, but here's one of the cool things about it. So give it a good shake, because there's actually tiny little bits of metal in it that make it so sparkly. So here, I will show you what it looks like, because once it's moving around, it almost looks like it's just continually moving. Let's go ahead and open it up. Okay, do you see how that's still moving? I mean, you can even see it sparkling on the rim, but it practically looks alive in the bottle once you've just shaken it. It's absolutely amazing. Super shiny. It's really fun to use on a page. So we're going to use a little bit of this, and I'll show you what it looks like. And then lastly, one of the other things you can use is a Wink of Stella brush pen. I have had this for ages. It comes in different colors, but this is a clear one. So a lot of these, like for instance, I really enjoy the Winsor & Newton, but it's kind of a pain because you have to use a brush. It's going to be the same thing with the glaze. Having something like the Wink of Stella brush pen and the glitter gel pens is a little bit easier because it's less mess. You can just take it out, pop the cap off, put it away. But sometimes you just want that little bit of extra something. So that's when you bring in something like the glaze or the Winsor & Newton bottled ink. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do the dragonfly glaze first and kind of show you how that works. You can see on the inside that it's kind of a white, but when it dries, it will dry clear. Okay, so we just have this simple paintbrush. It's a Princeton number 3 round. We're just doing just the tail, so it should be easy enough. I've got a little palette over here with the glaze on it, so we're going to get some of that. As you can see, it actually looks a little bit like almost like Elmer's glue is what I can think of. And so we're using this on top of, I colored this with marker and then embellished it with the white. Like I said, I chose all finished pages I had already done, but I was like, you know what? This could use a little bit. So in a minute, once I get this all on here, we'll go ahead and tilt it so you can see it with the light, how it looks. And these, like I said, these are just like the finishing touches that if you wanted to add a little something extra to your pages, you can. So you can see it's going on practically clear. And then we'll be able to see how much glitter there is on it once it's dried. Now, it is a paint, so obviously the more you use, the more paper it's going to, the more the paper is going to curl. So something to keep in mind, if you don't have super strong paper or it's really thin paper, I might not recommend doing this in such a large area, but little bits, it might work a little bit better. Let's see, did I get everywhere? I'm just doing this little tail part here. All right, let's take a look and see how it sparkles. Okay, so it's all wet now. What I'm gonna go ahead and do is dry it, and then I'll show you what it looks like after it is dried. Okay, so in hindsight, I probably should have taped this down because the heat definitely, between the heat and the paint, it has it curl a little bit. But now we can lift this up and you can see just how sparkly it is. Now the cool thing is there's different colors. So this one is a full spectrum shift, but there's different colors that you can choose also for different kinds of glitter effects. But this is a great way to use glitter without actually making a mess with glitter. Now you can see I had placed the white embellishments on here beforehand, and using that paint did kind of dull it. So you can always go back over with your white pen again if that's something that you did before, or however it is that you want to do that. Now, this is another image that I did. The previous one was by Christine Carrion, as well as this one. I'll have the links to all the pages in the description below. But what I'm going to do with this one is show you how to use the Wink of Stella brush pen. Now, something to keep in mind, because it is a brush pen and because it is clear ink, I would not recommend using this on top of watercolor pencils or anything that is water soluble, because it will move that pigment around. So this is another one done with alcohol markers, so it should be fine. But like I said, this one's nice because it's just contained. However, I will say that at least once or twice I have had like globs of ink and sparkle like come out of it and kind of blotch on a page and almost ruin it. Not gonna lie, that actually happened after the 4-page spread in the back of Lost Ocean, and you can imagine how thrilled I was. I was able to salvage it, but I had a mini heart attack. You can see actually here where like it's come out just a little bit, but it's okay. So what we're gonna do here is we'll just do this on her hair. And I don't know if you can see, okay, you see that kind of liquid right there? So we're gonna do a little bit of this, and then I will show you what it looks like by the light. Now, like I said, there are different colors available for the Wink of Stella ones. I know that these are used a lot for people that make cards. But having that little extra, basically this does what the dragonfly glaze does, except the dragonfly glaze is a lot more glittery. But if you're wanting something maybe not quite as glittery and something a bit more subtle, then the Wink of Stella brush pen is definitely something you might want to look into. I think the only thing that I dislike about this, and really kind of any glitter that you put on the page, is that it never photographs well, so it's always hard. But in person, it translates, and it's so pretty. We'll do the rest of her hair here so she looks consistent. I'm probably not being as precise as I should, but we're going to tilt it here in a second so that you can see how the glitter looks. There we go. See that kind of shine on her hair? Which works out perfectly because I think she's supposed to be like a fairy. But it gives it just enough shine that it gives it that extra little sparkle. So Wink of Stella brush pen has been around for a while and it's super, super handy. Okay, so this is a page I did a while ago. I used the, let's see, which one did I use on here? I want to say it was the gold Sleechy metallic gel pen on these stars. So I want to show you the difference in using the Winsor & Newton. So you always have to give it a good shake if you really want the most like glittery portions of it, just so that it stands out. So while you're using it, you do have to give the occasional shake. But so we've opened it up here, just like so, and I am going to use this little paintbrush. This is the 3/0 round Princeton brush here, and we're going to go ahead and zoom in so you can kind of see how it looks on the page. And what all you do is you've got it in there, and you just dip your brush in a little bit. Okay. Then you take it to these stars and you just paint it on like so. If you've been around for a while, like way back in the archives, I did a page in one of Johanna's books that had a purple owl, and I used a lot of this. And I think I might have used a dip pen with it, but these days I just honestly prefer the brush. I find it easier. So we're just going over where we already had some gold on there, and we're adding this, and then I will show you just how shiny it is. Now again, if you don't quite have the patience for a brush, then it could be that something like the Sparkle Pop would be something you'd be more interested in. Okay, I think that should be good enough to kind of show you what I mean. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and take this and tilt. And you can see here, in comparison to these ones that I already did where they're just outlined with the gel pen, do you see how it's picking up that sparkle? Now, once it dries, it's slightly raised off the paper, but it just creates this just awesome shine. Now, imagine if you did like a bunch of little dots and everything. It's so, so pretty. All right, and there we have it. Today's was nice and simple and easy. If you're looking for adding those extra little embellishments or finishing touches to your pages, this is a selection of items that work well. So let's go through them one more time. We have the Dragonfly glaze. I got this at Hobby Lobby. I will see if I can find it on Amazon. Either way, I will link you what you need for this. So this is the Dragonfly glaze that got us the nice sparkly mermaid tail. It's definitely more like a paint for sure. And then we had the Winsor & Newton gold ink. Even from this distance, you can see, like, in comparison, what it's picking up next to these stars. I don't know, I love it. And if you got the patience for a paintbrush, it's totally worth it. And then this one here shows you where I use the Milky Pop and the Sparkle Pop. Honestly, they are my most frequent go-tos. This is where I used the Sleechy metallic gel pen. So you can see it's got a metallic shine. Obviously no sparkle because it's not, any kind of glittery sparkle pen, but it does have just enough of a subtle shine. I like to use this a lot, like if I'm outlining leaves. So the Pentel Sleechy metallic gel pen, again, the links for everything will be in the description below. And then we've got the Wink of Stella, which is what we used on her hair. Look, you can see that glitter even from here. It is so, so shiny. I love it so much. And then this was just another example of those sparkle pops. So we've got the white Posca, the Arteza acrylic, we've got the Arteza white gel pen, my top rated white highlight pens, and then we have the Pentel Sparkle Pop, Pentel Milky Pop, we have the Pentel Sleechy metallic gel pen, love all of those. And then obviously we've got the Wink of Stella, as I mentioned, the Dragonfly glaze, and the Winsor & Newton gold bottled ink. And like I said, there are different colors. The metallics are really nice. I'll link the silver also. It's got definitely more of a shine and less of a sparkle, but it still comes out in that kind of nice, kind of thick, just real shiny kind of ink. So definitely a winner if you've been curious about trying something new. And that's everything. All right, everyone, thanks for watching today. If you like what you saw, don't forget to like and subscribe so you can see whenever we go live or whenever we have a new Let's Talk. And I will chat with y'all next time. Bye.